we are back. Jordan Clark, Jalin Conyers. How you doing, fellas? I mean, you guys could host this. You both have a lot of talent. You got a podcast. You've been on many of them. You guys have a lot of skills, but here you are at Media Days. I want to start off with what I've heard little rumors about that first team meeting. Can you guys take us through that with Kenny Dillingham and what you thought walking in and what you talked about coming out? Jalin?
Bro ripped his pants. That was the funniest thing ever. He came in right away and kind of started yelling, and we were kind of caught off guard. And once he had done that, he kicked his shoes off. He's talking about how his wife dressed him. And then he just got into telling us about how passionate he was about being here and wanting to get with us and get ready to go. It was definitely a super, moment I won't forget. But now, looking back at it, man, it's just him being passionate and being who he is. So it was a super cool moment for sure.
Yeah, for me, I would just say it was our first kind of encounter with him, and you learned how genuine he was and how much he really loves Arizona State, how much he loves Tempe. And it's genuine, it's real, the passion that he has for it. And, for me, that's all you can ask for in a head coach.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions from the media. Please raise your hand, state your name and affiliation, and we'll bring you a microphone. Start here on the left in the front.
Kenneth Berry, Touchdowns to Tangents Network. For Jordan, how has your dad kind of helped mold you into the defensive back that you are? Because obviously, his style is his style, but how has he helped you with that? And most importantly, outside of him and maybe Troy Polamalu, who are your favorite Pittsburgh Steelers?
My dad is, to my career, my dad is everything, man. He taught me how to approach the game. He led by example as well as instruction. I watched my dad my entire life work his tail off. We didn't take a lot of vacations. Our vacation was going to Scottsdale during the summer to watch him train, So watching him approach his career in such a professional way, and then, him taking time out to wake me up before school at 5:30, go work out before school, then after my practice at school, go work out again, just taking the time out of his day to teach me. It really means everything, and it's shaped me into who I am today. And then outside of my dad and Troy Polamalu, my favorite Steelers growing up were probably Mike Wallace and James Harrison.
Jalin, for you have this unique path, right? Even changing positions, high school quarterback. We all saw the highlights on your social media, right? To now you're one of the faces of this program, playing tight end, doing a lot of things in this offense. Where have you grown the most? Was it changing positions, changing schools, changing coaches?
Yeah, I think it's just finding myself at ASU. Going to OU, like you said, I was a quarterback, then I got there and I was a tight end, then they moved to receiver. And then right before I transferred, they were telling me hey, we're kind of going to possibly try you out in a new position. So I was kind of just in a place where I was stuck, and I was like, all right, well, what's going to be my role? And then obviously getting in the portal and getting to ASU, they're like, you're going to be a tight end. I finally kind of found my place, and the first year, kind of COVID, year after COVID was kind of a little bit of a lag year, but then the year after, obviously going this past year, I kind of got to finally flourish and kind of got to show what I have. So I think a lot of it was just getting in that role and being able to, play how I want to play and just be me. And more than anything, I think the one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that I am myself, or I try to be myself no matter what, where I'm at, whether you think I'm weird, funny, stupid, or whatever. So I think that was finally something I finally got to do and show it on the field.
Next question, far right in the third booth.
Jalin, Kevin Turner, Sun Devil Radio Network. Last year, you were sort of in the shadow of Messiah Swinson, and it was a cold night in Boulder, Colorado, where this guy that was just kind of mired, behind the scenes, came out of nowhere and looked like Superman. You were unstoppable, and then the trajectory of your career at ASU really took off and became a household name. What was it that sparked that night and that change in the trajectory of your performance?
I wore ramen noodle pajamas before I went to bed. I'm playing. But that was, it was crazy. That was the first game that Trenton Bourget started. Me and him actually lived together, funny enough, so we've always kind of had a connection, even when I came here and he was the backup and I was the second string tight end. So we kind of always had that relationship, and it was kind of funny going into the game. We talked to him, and he was like, hey, just know, it's finally our time. And I was like, yeah. And I kind of, not to say I brushed it off, but I was kind of everyone kind of says that, So after the second catch, I was kind of oh, it's a good game so far. And then obviously it kind of took off from there. But Yeah, I mean, I just had to be patient and wait my turn. I mean, Messiah's a dog, and obviously we got a really good tight end room with Bryce, too, being in there as well. So I think that game honestly changed my life. It kind of put me in a place that, it was kind of my first, game where I had the most confidence I'd ever had to be able to do what I did, and I was able to run with that towards the end of the season, and obviously it ended up being, I'm here now at Pac-12 Media Day, so it's super cool.
And those pajamas just went viral, man.
No, exactly, no. Yeah,
Jordan, I want to ask about a life-changing moment possibly for you. I heard you on your father's podcast where you talked about one day you went up to him and you're like, I want to be great. I want to go do this thing. And he'd put you through workouts, and he would say, you can quit anytime. You can quit anytime. And clearly you haven't quit. What do you think was building inside you as you were training and learning and eventually ascending to the role you're in today?
During that time, man, I told my dad I wanted to play college ball, and I told him that I wanted to take it seriously. And I think that I hadn't, up to that point, because of the life that my father had built for my family, I hadn't really faced much adversity. But my dad did a great job of kind of creating that, himself. So just through those workouts and through kind of navigating recruiting and all of that stuff, it was just a chip, I think, formed on my shoulder, man. And I just wanted to prove that Jordan Clark belonged, not Ryan Clark's son or anything like that. I wanted to prove that Jordan Clark belonged. And, I'm here now, and I hope to continue to do that.
You mentioned yesterday when we were talking about your dad, and I was asking if you had any pregame superstitions, and you shared with me that you have a really cool, I was thinking more about it after we talked, a really cool pregame thing that you do, and it started maybe back in high school, you said, where you
Yes,
watch.
ma'am.
So go ahead and share it with everybody.
Before every game, I watch my dad's highlight tape. It's the same highlight tape. I have it screen recorded on my phone, and my Uncle Sean's highlight tape from when he was in Washington. Yeah, and I just watch them both. I watch just how they played, the product on the field, but I know the work, and I know what they did to get to that point. And it really just motivates me to represent my family, represent my dad and my Uncle Sean the right way every time I go out there, and those two people mean the world to me. So.
And your favorite play of your dad's in that 2.5 minute?
Oh, yeah, 2 minutes, 32 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's when he put Willis McGahee to sleep, and he also went to sleep, and I just think that that's, super cool. So I definitely rewind that a good bit.
We have one in the very far back on the right.
Shane Diefenbach, PHNX Sports. I was just wondering, you guys have been at ASU and some of the few returners. What made you guys stay at Arizona State, and what's that opportunity been like to kind of be a leader in a new locker room?
For me, I think the biggest thing was like I said, after transfer from OU, I finally got my opportunity here to kind of show what I had. When I got here, I wasn't really sure who I was, and I finally got to develop that. So after the season was over, obviously Herman got fired and stuff like that, so we didn't really know where it was going, but obviously getting the hiring Coach Dillingham, who's crazy offensive mind, so, kind of hearing what he had to say to me and stuff like that, it just made me want to stay. I want to be a Sun Devil at the end of the day. I love Arizona, even though it's so hot, bro. It's terrible, but even past all that, Arizona's just a great place to be, whether it's Tempe, Scottsdale, Phoenix. Tempe, if you go back and you look at the old football games and stuff like that, that stadium is packed. It's a college town. It's so fun. So our goal is just to get us back in that kind of feel, and that was why I wanted to be a Sun Devil, because I want to be a part of it.
Time for one more from the audience here, third row in the middle.
Oh, sweet. Jay Russell, Burn City Sports, right here in the middle. You guys are impressive. Jordan, I've seen you make, incredible tackles. I've seen you made some incredible catches, but this is my first time actually, guys, seeing you in person. I didn't know about the fashion. I see the necklace. I see the shoes. Jalin, talk to me about your shoes. Talk to me about where do you guys get your sense of fashion from? As you can tell, I kind of care about fashion.
Please describe your drip first, please. If y'all do not see his chain, just saying. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. My dad takes fashion super seriously. Actually, before this, him and I had a 20-minute conversation about what I was gonna wear, what I was gonna go buy for it. I just like to, represent my family the right way. You know what I'm saying? And I think that fashion is a big part of that. You got some Palm Angels sneakers on, tennis bracelet, tennis chain. You know what I'm saying? I like to represent my family the right way. So fashion's a way I can do that.
I'll be honest, I'm not a fashion guy. This is probably the best dressed I've been probably in a good 3-4 months, I'll be honest with you. But so the shoes, I don't know. I've always had this thing with, I've seen players have created shoes in the past and custom stuff. And there's a lot of people in Arizona that I've met and that make custom shoes and stuff. And I've always seen just how cool it would be able to broadcast that. So shout out to Kicks by Kenna, by the way, for making these. But she made them in 3 days because I just told her very late because I didn't know I was coming. But once I found out, but yeah, I just think it's cool to be able to showcase stuff like this. Like, I think it's super cool. It's, it's obviously something unique to me, so I just thought it'd be a super cool thing to wear. And obviously, thank you to her for wearing them. But I'm not a big fashion guy. That's all him. But other than that,
You're playing the part well, I will say.
You look good on the podcast when I see
I
that.
appreciate that. Thank you. It means a lot, actually.
And Jalin, I just got to tell you, because I know you guys got to run, but I was at that game at Colorado, and it was Halloween weekend, and it was unbelievably fun to watch you have that game, and I'm excited for both of you for what the season is going to bring. So good luck. And Thursday, August 31st, the opener will be on Pac-12 Network against Southern Utah. 8 home games for the Sun Devils.
That's gonna be fun.
Enjoy the rest of the day, gentlemen. We'll
Awesome.
see you.
Thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate
y'all
it.
so much.